I welcome you back to another lesson of our VBA training. In our previous lesson, we were able to learn how to record macro. And in today's lesson, we are going to learn how to write our macros by ourselves. How to write our macro. But before we tackle that, let me introduce you to something we call data type. In programming, you need to know the data type that you are going to use. And with programming, we have different data types. Now, the first data type we'll talk about is what we call string. So when we talk of string, they are letters or alphabets, a combination of letters or alphabets to form a word. So it can be a word, it can be a phrase, it can be a sentence, and others. So that's what we call string. We also have something we call integer. Integer also deal with numbers from 0 to infinity. Then we also have something called boolean. Boolean also has a value of true or false. It can either be true or false. That's what we call Boolean data type. We also have a float. A float is also it's just like an integer, but it's a decimal number. That's a decimal value. A value with decimal figure. So it's term as well. Float. So these are the data types that we have under programming or computer programming. So in today's lesson, now we are going to write macros. We are going to encounter some of them in our code. Now, if you want to record a macro, the first you need to do is to go to your Visual Basic editor. So let's click on the Visual Basic Editor icon here. So you can go Alt plus F11 to open the editor for you. So this is our editor, and we have already learned in the previous video that this area is the coding screen. It's where the code will be, and this is the Project Explorer window. So if you want to add a code, or if you want to write a macro, you first of all need to insert a module. We already said a module is the area where code are written. So if you want to write a code, you need to create an area where your code will display. So we already have some macros here. So let's try to create a new macro. So we go to insert, then you go to module. So create the module. Okay, so this is the module, and that is the third module, so module 3. Now we can equally edit our module. So if you want to edit, you can just select it, then you go to view, then go to Project Property Explorer, so or property window. So for the property for the window to open for you. So if you open the window, you can just rename it. So this is the name you want to give the module. So let's create a module like first underscore macro. So we are going to use our macro. The one thing you must note here is that when you are naming an object in VBA, try not to start with a letter, a number, or a symbol. You can start with underscore. Underscore is accepted, but starting with a number or symbol, let's say @ it will not be accepted. So take note of that. So you just click on it, you hit on enter, you see that it has the name has taken effect. So just click on it, and the module will be activated for you to write your code. So we are going to start writing our code. As I said, if you want to write your code, start with what? The sub. So sub. SUB will be the beginning. Then the object name. So the name we are going to give to our object. So let's say we want to write, let's say my. Okay, let's use simple underscore macro. Okay, then you end it with open and closing brackets. Then hit on enter. The moment you hit on enter, it will set the end sub. So in between the sub and the end sub is where you are going to write our code. So let's write this simple code. Let's try to display a text as a prompt. So we write msg, that's message box, msg box, and because what you are going to write is a string, so in programming, when you are writing a string, we put them in quotes, in double quotes or single quote, mostly in double quotes. So take note of that. If you are writing and you are writing a string, we have already explained a string to string are letters. So we are going to write a string. You want to display a string. So when your quotes, double quotes, in between double quotes, then you write your code, your text that you want to display. So let's type this. This is Joroots. Joroots Academy. So with this, we have written a line of code. Now let's try to learn how to run this code. So if you want to run the code, this code, you just click on this icon here. This icon here, if you click on it, your code will run. Now, equally, you can also come to this side, this button here, that is the run button. You just click on it. It will give you an option. Then you click on the first one, the run sub or user form, or you can use the F5 key to run it. That is a shortcut. So let's click on this and then run it. So the moment you click on it, you see that it will give you a prompt, message. You see that they downloaded the message box and say this is the root. So the message that we want to display has been displayed. Okay, so we can also add more lines of code. So let's try to add an integer. So msg box. Then for integer, because it is an integer, we don't need quotation marks. We just write the number. So let's say 20. Okay, then we then run it. So let's run it. So if you run it, the code will read from the top. So the first message box will be displayed, and after that the second one also will display. So let's run it. So if you run it, so that the first one is the first test has been displayed, then you click on OK, and you give you the second test also. So that's how we write code in VBA. So we are going to run more codes as time goes on. Okay, then I'll end the lesson here and we'll continue in the next video. Bye bye.